Every week on Sundays at 2 p.m. we do a creative talk. We get different creatives on and just discuss how are they finding this time, and just top tips, positive things that are happening, and how they're keeping themselves engaged with their craft. Okay, this week we've got Mr. Philip J. Morris, trainee director at the Royal Court. Those of you who don't know, Royal Court is based in Sloane Square. It's a very established theatre, bringing out like groundbreaking like shows and like really moving pieces of work. And Philip is a young, a young adult like myself who is lucky enough to be in the room whilst they are devising and creating these pieces. And then again, you've got myself, Louis Quaye, DJ performer. You may have seen me on this channel before.
My favorite DJ.
Yeah. So guys, we are here. We're finally here. I feel so relieved. So you know what? I've done the intros. I think I'm gonna jump into my first question, and it's one that a lot of the creative people out there can relate, or they may have seen it going around. So we are kind of heavily into the journey, I'll say, of this lockdown period. I call it a journey because I don't want to say, oh, it's lockdown. Like, we're still progressing, we're still making connections, we're still building, even though we're in lockdown. So it's a journey in a sense. There's a lot of support and fundraising out there for, actors out of work, musicians out of work. The people who kind of supply the material, the content. My question for you, being someone who is involved in one of the stages of like a production, there's not necessarily a lot of I haven't seen things out there saying, okay, let's raise some money for a producer, or let's raise some money for the directors who you've lost a bit of money trying to put on shows. So if you would like to maybe just give a bit of insight into if you have friends or anyone that is maybe struggling, or they found ways to keep themselves going, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a really, I think what's scary about all of it is that it's such an uncertain time. Hence, there probably not being necessarily pots and stuff of funding to be raised, because actually across the board in the arts, it's had such a massive ripple effect on people creating work, being able to make work, and being paid for work. So it's just a really stagnant time of uncertainty, of us not knowing what even theatre is going to look like. Do you know what I mean? There's so many things that have to be called into account, like is there such a thing as like a social distance show? How will that work in terms of revenue, income? How do you unless you're relying on Arts Council funding, where are the resources going to be found? So it's a really, I'd say I don't even have an answer, but I know many people in a position where they're not sure what they need to do. So at the moment they're just working other jobs to get by. But it's a really uncertain time in my field and in my friends and colleagues' fields across the board. If your theatre is fortunate enough to have like Arts Council funding, you may have been like furloughed and stuff. But if not, we're all sort of sitting and waiting to see what's going to happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Well, it's not nice, but it's kind of that's kind of what it is. And I think a lot of the only way to move forward is just to accept the situation and then attack it in a way of how can I make this my own. I just want to remind people we are taking questions at the end, so please write through your questions. I see Darflo saying that she's been creating, or he has been creating and just trying to figure out how to generate an income. I think right now, just to answer that, just quickly sorry to interject. Right now it is, I don't think the main focus is making money. If obviously you need to pay bills, and obviously you need to make ends meet, but there's things that are worth more than money. If you build that connection or you build a relationship with another producer or another script playwright, and you build that connection now while we're here, while everyone's at home and got all this free time. When we come out of this, you're gonna hit the ground running, and I think that's something you can be in control of. So kind of get rid of the thought of like, I'm gonna make all the money right now. Like, it is kind of like a compromise of, let me build everything I need now. Then when I hit that, when we come out of this, you are gonna just rock it and go. So everything is building. Just to go tie into another question I really wanted to ask you, and a more positive one. How are you staying connected to your peers?
Yeah.
And like, are you doing weekly Zoom calls? And also, how are you staying influenced? So like, are you still seeing plays? Because I know you can't go out and see theatres, but is there any online stuff available?
Yeah, it's a good question. I'm at a stage right now, and I think it's really important for those who are connected to people to reach out. So I have my co-trainee director, Izzy, we're like theatre siblings. We make weekly calls. Sometimes we speak twice a week or 3 times a week, just to actually call and check in and see how we're doing. I've also got some other friends who are like in the chat now. Shout out to Xanthus. But like, we just message each other just to check in, because whether it's even to talk about like our industry or not, it's so important to keep that connection going. Because I have to judge my emotions by the day. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I wake up feeling really inspired. Sometimes I literally just want to watch Netflix all day.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like, it's important. But in starting those conversations or continuing those conversations, it keeps you stimulated. Because someone might say, "Oh, I've read the script, and actually, do you mind having a look at it?" Or there might be like me and Izzy, what we do, and Millie as well. We just like unofficially, we all read a play, and then we call each other on Friday, and we just like pitch ideas for what we do if we're going to stage it. And that's really, really, really stimulating. Do you know what I mean? Like, we're not able to physically put that into practice now, but it sparks so many ideas, and like hearing their thoughts as well is always really helpful, because we all, you know, as creators, we all have our own like visions of how we see pieces and stuff. So that kind of stuff. So yeah, weekly calls, Zoom chats, like unofficially just to chat and catch up, or to like transport each other.
Just to keep that muscle.
Say again?
Just to keep that creative muscle like going. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it is like gym. You know what I mean? You got to keep training it. You know. And so yeah, so that's to answer that first question. Just being like taking the responsibility of checking in with my friends.
Okay.
You know, especially when you're not. You know, sometimes it gets a bit quiet. I'm the kind of person I'll just message and be like, "How you doing? You good?"
Yeah.
Because you just never know where people might be at that time. What was the second question again? Oh, in terms of watching stuff.
Yeah, like is there things?
Yeah, so I'm going to be honest. Like, I slept in terms of watching shows, because I just wasn't really in the headspace to do that yet. But I did watch Barbershop Chronicles last Friday, which is Friday Just Gone, which is one of my favourite plays, which actually sparked my imagination for so many other things that I've done. So it was really good to get back into that groove again. And amazing that people who didn't get a chance to watch it before could now experience it. So like, even like my mum and stuff, she said there was like a chain WhatsApp, and she was like, "Have you heard of this show?" I was like, "Mum, I watched it 3 times, but you should watch it." Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I think we're in a cool time where like more theatres are starting to put up like streams of their previous performances, and I think it's going to be interesting in the future how performances are treated. And now I have a sense that maybe nearly every performance is going to be filmed now, just in case.
Well, yeah, that's definitely going to change. I think.
Yeah, man. And like, you know, what's great is that tickets that are, you know, maybe £20-40 is being streamed for free.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff available for free now. I'm just gonna. I've still got some questions, but this is really good. Like, people are firing a lot of questions here in the chat, and this is for the viewers and for people watching. So I'm just gonna read out a few that you've got here. Tim has just sent one through. He's saying, "How have you, both me and you, how have you been able to network during lockdown?" Do you want to go first?
Yeah. So actually, pages that have been set up, like Love Lockdown, set up by a good friend Jamil Thompson.
Shout out Love Lockdown.
It's great actually. Yeah, little plug there. It's great because you find a way to connect with other artists. Outside of that, also, in my field, like I have spoken to writers who I'm quite interested in, like reading their work and stuff. So it's just something that's very, like, it's a very self-efficient thing. There isn't, outside of like whether there's hubs where you can like network, you sort of got to dig it out yourself. I don't know if that's the same for you, Lewis.
I think for me, the main thing I've experienced is last week I performed at like an online festival, and the process of being involved in that was like insane. Like I made three kind of I networked with three other DJs, and like now I've got their socials, and now I'm connected with what they're doing and what platforms they're on, and we I don't think I would have met them in the real world. They would have been so busy with like doing sets here or going to this club now, or whatever. But now, because we're in a situation where like everyone does have a bit of time, and we're desperate to kind of show our skills and perform. We are like prepared to do it like for free. And I know Direflow was talking about generating income, but you can twist that kind of way of thinking and just be like, take the pressure off, not having to say, oh, I need to do that for money because I've worked so hard to build that skill. If you take that pressure off, then you can kind of put yourself out there a lot more and be like, look, I'm gonna come and do this for free because I'm gonna do it online. I don't have to travel anywhere, and you will start getting people saying, oh, you know what, I do this YouTube channel and it would be cool to like have someone come on and do this or talk this way. And you got to not think of it as doing things for free, but think of it as networking. So to link you two, Tim's question and Direflow's question, just don't worry too much about the income right now. Think about network, build.
Amira had a question?
Yeah. She said, what's been one of your biggest challenges and what's been one of the biggest ways you've adapted that you're really proud of?
During this time?
Yes.
So, one of the biggest challenges has been, especially in the early stage, with being motivated. So, I'm developing my own work that's the thing. I'm in a space where I'm attempting to write something, basically. But I've just acknowledged that I'm not in the space to do it yet. So at first, when it first broke out, I was like, oh, I've got all this time. I'm going to go ham. I'm going to go in. But actually, I've been focusing my energy towards other things that still motivate me, but I've acknowledged that that's something that I'm not in that headspace yet. So I'm in a very like absorbing state
like
right
a
now,
sponge,
where I'm just like watching, reading, doing all kinds of different things, because I know that window will come again, but it's just not right now.
Okay, so a little bit of patience.
Yeah, so patience, that's the thing. But whilst and in that patience, actually picking up other skills. So I'm learning quite a bit about like dramaturgy and interrogating scripts and all that kind of stuff. That's the space I'm in, just soaking. But then I'm hoping that in a few months' time I can just go, shed, Okay. So that's been the biggest challenge, is staying motivated in that way. But the biggest reward is actually just, it's going to sound a bit like, but just some self-reflection. Okay. I've just been thinking a lot. And it's nice, It's nice not to be occupied by other things,
That's
so
good.
I feel like I've gone back to the drawing board.
Okay.
And that feels really nice.
Okay. I think some people find it...
Definitely.
It could be quite daunting to be like... You always feel like, I want to do a lot, but like, just bring some back and just focus on one thing.
Small. That's the thing. Like, everything is... I think during this time, everyone can allow themselves to give themselves some grace. Because it's so... Like we have no, like in my field, we got like generally and across the board, we've got no idea when we'll be in our buildings again, making work again. You know, so yeah, just one step at a time. But I'd encourage it to be, I'd encourage that time to be a time for us to look after ourselves, basically.
Okay, definitely.
In whatever way that would miss useful. Yeah.
I've only got 2 more for you, but because of my connection was bad, could you just have a look in the comments and just see if anyone dropped another question after Amira's? Just because, again, I want to make this about what everyone watching, what they want to hear, because that's the whole reason we're doing this. Like, we're just getting 2 creatives from different disciplines and just getting them to speak about their experiences and their input and like how they are finding things, because the best way to like get through things is to communicate even with relationships and within work and within your industry. And as you're establishing a brand, you need to communicate, talk to someone, see this, oh, that's how he done it, right, okay, let me do mine like this way, and then I won't have to do that because that took him too long, then I'll just do this. And the best way is to talk, message people, watch things, jump on people's things. Like, just put yourself out there as much as you can, but enjoy it. If it's something you love as well, you're gonna enjoy it. You don't like. I could mix all day. Like I don't mind. Was there anything in there, Phil?
There's no other questions I can see.
Was the last thing from Base Headred saying, "How are you, Phil?"
Oh yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Actually, yeah, I'm in a really positive space, like, and I'm just enjoying it, Okay. Yeah, so I'm well. Thank you for asking.
Okay, that's good.
How are you?
Yeah, guys, put in the comments, guys. If you're still watching and you're still viewing here, give us a little wave. Put a little wave in there. I know Polly is always tuning in. Amira, where are you at? I need to see that little interaction. Engage with us, because this is like an open forum platform. Drop a little palm tree. Just I've got my palms here. This ain't by mistake. I'm trying to do this for you. Look. But a question I wanted to ask was, is there anything like really positive that's happened within your industry or within like your community? Is there anything you want to kind of shed light on? Anything you want to say, oh, you know what, this has been happening, and I'm really proud that that's happened.
Yeah. So a company which I used to run is going for a really, really exciting transition, where actually 2 of its previous members are now the directors of the company.
Oh, wow.
Which is incredible, because that was the aim from the very beginning, was to develop leaders, so there's on Monday, tomorrow, they're going to be doing I think they're doing a live chat like this. Hopefully they got a better connection. To talk about where the direction of where the company is going.
Okay, sounds good. What are they called?
That's like a dream come true.
What's the company called?
That's really the company's called Lightpost. Yeah, actually, the company's called Lightpost, and it's a company made of all black men from the city of Birmingham. Which is something which I started 4.5 years ago. And the aim of the company is to tell stories, social and historical importance, exploring our identity, heritage, how excited I am about where the direction of the company is now going. There were like loads of people who interviewed for it, but the best fit were our old members. So that's like,
wow. So
that's perfect.
Yeah. I think
sometimes in our community. Go on.
In any company, even if you took it into like the corporate world, the best thing is to upskill people within, to employ within, to bring people up. So even that's amazing that that's happened with like something that you helped build.
Big time. We all have to learn, and that's the great thing about learning. Like, you can find yourself in leadership positions with time. It's about being nurtured, based as an artist. When I quick tangent, but when I first got involved, I didn't know anything. Do you know what I mean? And it's just amazing to fast forward and look at the things that I've been achieved and stuff. But we have to start somewhere. So I'm absolutely buzzing for the guys.
You've helped me remember one of my top tips for this week for myself is basically don't be afraid to seek help, and I think a mentor is a beautiful thing. If you have someone that's been through what you want to achieve, please reach out to them and please say, look, it may mean nothing to you, but just telling me how you done that is going to help me so much. And I think you mentored those people, obviously, who were in the company, and then look, they've stepped into the role that you once had. So if you are finding it difficult as a creative, right now, reach out to someone who you know has done something you want to do, and just be like, look, we're in this time now, whatever, I want to start building and get to a stage that you've been at. You got any advice for me? Leave the ego at the door. Don't feel like everyone's, your competitor. Your thing is going to be different from that person's thing just because it's you.
Big time. That's great advice.
Yeah, so that's my little top tip from Louis Quaye, DJ. But Phil, we wanted to, as we kind of wrap up, I don't like to make these chats too long because I like bite-sized information. Do you have any top tips? Any top tips for anyone, any creatives?
Collaborate. Share your ideas with people who you really trust.
Yeah, okay. Good.
Just running back to when I spoke with Kieran, one of my closest friends, and I told him about the prospects of what this company could become, and he was like, I'm all in, and we've been Ryu and Ken, to the company since. And even even now, there's so many ideas that I'm willing to share with people who I'm willing to collaborate with, close friends, and stuff like that. So just share your ideas. Share your ideas with your circle, because I think it takes a village, and so in terms of your own dreams, the support network around you can help you achieve what you need to. So that's one thing. You really touched on the mentors thing. Be bold, daring yourself to be bolder as well. So my personal challenge is to engage more with people who I admire. So in the past, I've seen people who have paved the way in my industry, and I've just watched them in the corner I don't know. On the talk to them,
follow the page. It's our culture. Every week we're going to bring on different creatives. I know we still got a few viewers. Shout out Fope, Tim, Amira, Polly, and John Hodson. We got people all the way from California. Have come all the way in. And any questions, people could chuck them in now if they've got any last minute questions. Right. Philip Morris, Trainee Director, Royal Court, thank you so much for allowing me to come on your live, because do you know what I mean? We make it happen, we bring it there. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Next week we're gonna have another chat. Obviously George hosts, sometimes we might have someone else hosting. We're just gonna reach out, and if you're interested in coming on the platform, drop the account a message, because like Philip said, we want to collaborate. That's the best way for creatives to widen their network, widen their range of field, and let's just get everyone together and build. Let's build a network while we're all, we have got a bit more time. I'm sure that's what people have. People do have a bit more time, apart from people who are still working. But at being creatives, I'm sure we have all been affected in some level. So guys, thank you for this week so much. Philip, any closing messages you wanna sign off?
Amazing things.
Is it?
I would love. There's definitely some people in this chat who would be amazing to come to 100%. Definitely quite a few people in the comment section who should be talking to you. Yeah, just everyone, just stay well. You know, health is wealth and all that. Allow yourself to go through the motions. Some days you'll feel amazing. Some days you won't. But I look forward to seeing everyone on the other side once things lighten up.
That's it.
You know?
That's it. You heard it here first. Philip's gonna throw a big party. He's gonna have a big. We're all invited. Okay, right. I'm gonna sign off. Philip, thank you so much. That's your little bite-sized creative talk this week, guys. Enjoy your Sunday.
Cool, man.
Blessings.